counting down days to Christmas, but beware. Holiday shopping and travel can make you a target for scams and thieves. I'm Lisa Oligus, and this is Newsmakers. In this edition, we get advice on shopping safely, whether in person or online, and what to know before you make that holiday getaway. For all that information, we go to our regional expert with the Better Business Bureau, Pamela Hernandez. Pamela, welcome back to Newsmakers. We love having you here.
Thank you for having me. I always enjoy being here.
Well, everyone wants to get a great deal at holiday time, but some will bust their budget on Christmas giving. And as we look at all things shopping, some have begun, but Black Friday is often considered the kickoff to Christmas shopping. The question is always, are there really better deals on that day? Or can you shop sales now and get just as good a deal?
Well, I know I'm already starting to get Black Friday emails, and we're not there yet.
Yes.
But there can be, particularly if you're thinking more about going into a retail store. You want to, and yes, they do still print sales flyers. You still can get those in your local newspaper, whether you get a physical paper or a digital copy. But you want to look for those and see what they're having. They may have things that are just for a certain time period on Black Friday, or they may take in that whole weekend, but you can still find deals on some specific items at your in-person retailers.
Sometimes they might prompt you to buy something you really don't need. My family loves looking at the ads, even though it seems like fewer stores are putting them in the newspaper and they do it online. So how do you plan for that? I mean, should you get on a list of a company? I mean, some of them do have like rewards. You get extra points, maybe bonus points.
If there's a retailer that you're specifically interested in, or maybe a specific item, because you do want to plan. As you mentioned, it is so easy to go over budget. So do some planning, and like you said, get on the email list and sign up for rewards programs. You will then get those notifications. You will get the emails, as opposed to having to go through and look for an online ad or an ad in a physical newspaper, so that you can determine where you want to prioritize your holiday budget by knowing what you need to specifically target on Black Friday.
So what are some of the best practices when you're in the store? Are there things, some do's and don'ts?
Well, set that budget. Have a budget. It is so easy to go overboard. And then make sure what you're buying is the thing that you really need. So have a strategy. These are the specific things that I need to shop for, and head to those first. Things that are those doorbusters, those big deals, they're often limited in quantities. So that's why the stores tend to open a little bit earlier, and you may have to get in line a little bit depending on the retailer. But have a plan, head to those things first, and then you can take some time to browse later to see if there are any other deals that meet your list.
Are those early bird specials really good deals, those doorbusters, or is it kind of part of the hype?
You know, not always. So that's, again, why you want to do your research ahead of time. You can track prices online for specific items. You can see a history of big ticket items, televisions, for example, what those prices have looked like. So just double check and make sure you're getting an apples to apples comparison. You may think it's the television you're looking for, but in reality, it's a slightly scaled down version, something just a little bit different to accommodate that lower price point.
How important is a budget? I mean, and how far in advance do some people need to really start saving for a holiday shopping season?
It's so important, particularly this year where Thanksgiving feels like it's just a little bit later. Day after Halloween, I started getting those emails, right? People start looking at those deals, and when you have more time, you can kind of lose track of what you're spending. So have a budget and do your very best to stick to it, because we're going to continue to see those deals after Black Friday, all the way up until Christmas Eve, and probably after.
Yeah, I do like to support our brick and mortar stores, but oddly some of the items from a very same store can be cheaper online. So can you make a case for that in the store? Can you ever say, hey, I saw it here? Do some stores have a matching kind of policy?
You know, some stores do. Some stores may also allow you to order at the online price for pickup in the store. So that can be an option to explore as well.
Okay. How important is it to consider if an item might need to be returned?
So important. You should always have returns and exchanges in mind when you shop, particularly during the holiday season. Now, the good news is return policies tend to be a little more generous during the holidays, but not always, particularly if you're shopping at a pop-up shop. So we see those seasonal stores that like to spring up for the holidays. They may not even be here after December 25th. So just double check what is different if it's someplace you normally shop, and ask specifically if it's a pop-up shop what that return policy looks like, and no matter what, get a gift receipt.
Okay. And what do you need to get from the store? I mean, just the receipt, or is there, like, I know that we used to do news stories on the policies of like Target, how many days you have to get it back?
Ask those questions. A lot of retailers are getting very good at putting that information right there on the receipt. You can see there, it tells you so many days after the purchase. Others, you actually have to go online to see it. That makes it easier for the retailer, of course, to change it. So just double check, ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask for very specific things about what do I need to do to return this or exchange it. If, for example, you buy it online, can you take it into the brick and mortar store? So it's okay to ask those questions. You should always, no matter when you're shopping, be prepared for return or exchange.
Information always helpful. So if you're not sure if someone will like a gift cards seem like a great idea, but you tell me those can also be a target of scammers. So what is card draining? How can you avoid scams when it comes to gift cards?
So gift card training is something that consumers have told BBB about over the last few years. It's popping up more and more prevalent. So what happens is scammers go into a retail store that sells gift cards. Most retail stores, they have these large kiosks with gift cards for just anything you could possibly imagine. And they will use a barcode scanner to capture the barcode and the PIN from a gift card, and then they simply wait. They keep checking the 800 number to see if the card's been activated. And once it has, the scammers will either spend the money, they'll shop themselves, they'll transfer it over to another card, or they'll create a duplicate card to use.
Wow.
So you want to be really careful if you're buying that physical gift card in the store. Look for a gift card kiosk that maybe is closer to the register, where it's more likely that someone's been keeping an eye out.
Okay.
And then look for any kind of tampering. See if there's a sticker that's been placed over the barcode, or if anything's been opened or scratched off. In cases with certain gift cards, it might be smarter to do an electronic gift card. That way you know there's nothing that physically has been tampered with, and you can see when the receiver actually opens the email and activates that card.
Perfect. You've even warned, though, about offers of free gift cards. So who does this?
Well, again, it's scammers. They're phishing, and they're offering you some sort of free gift card, either in an attempt to get your credit card. So the gift card is free, but in exchange for this sale or for some information, you pay shipping and handling.
Okay.
To get that card. And now they've got, of course, your credit card information. Or it's for a survey, it's for a special holiday promotion, and then they start asking for personal information. So maybe they're trying to get to a password for your account with that store, or some other information that they can use for other scams.
Wow. So when it comes to shopping, downtown shops do try to counter Black Friday, small businesses. It's called Small Business Saturday. What is the upside of shopping out of the big box stores, and why is it important to kind of support those small local businesses?
Well, of course, we all want to support our communities and entrepreneurs in our community. Small Business Saturday is a great way to do that and get out of those big box stores. And the bonus is that you're actually getting to see the product. You'll be able to see if it's a good quality item. You know what you're getting. So you might get something also that's more unique, right? Probably not gonna find it elsewhere. So you get a nice unique gift, you're supporting a local business, and you've been able to put your eyes on the item and know that it's a good quality item that actually exists.
That's right. And that can be really safe. The next day, sometimes it's called Cyber Monday, and that's a lot of deals for ordering online. What should we be looking for? What can make that risky?
You know, you want to verify everything and really be skeptical of social media ads that you see. That's where we at BBB, we get a lot of reports of fake ads on social media proclaiming some sort of too good to be true deal. So for example, a couple of years ago, we had a rash of people saying that they saw a social media ad for a pickup only deal from a major retailer. They could bid a special price if they agreed to purchase through what turned out to be a fake website, and picked up curbside. And then unfortunately, when they arrived at the retailer, there was nothing to be found. So if you see a deal on social media, just make sure you go directly to the retailer's website. If it's real, it's going to be in the app, it's going to be on the website. That's another great reason to sign up for rewards programs. You can just sign in, log on, see what kind of deals are there. Much more reliable than clicking on that social media app.
All right, be careful about that website. Make sure it's valid.
That's right.
All right, we're going to take a break. And when we come back, I'll look at some of the risks you face with holiday travel and how to avoid scams. As we go to break, more tips from the BBB.
Lions Forward is more than a campaign. It's our commitment to the future. Through private giving, we're expanding educational opportunities in Joplin and the four-state area, strengthening programs, and investing in our students. Many MSSU graduates choose to stay in our region, becoming the healthcare professionals, educators, and business leaders who keep our community strong.
Home for the holidays or Christmas in paradise. Either means you have to travel, and that can mean headaches if you don't plan well. We're here again with Pamela Hernandez, who is going to give us advice on navigating holiday travel. You know, we often hear about long lines and even getting stuck at the airport. So what are the first things to do if you need to fly to your destination?
Well, certainly be prepared. Be prepared before you book. Hopefully you booked early so you can get a good deal that way. But do things like making sure you have the airline's app downloaded. If there's a problem, that's really probably you're gonna get that first notification. Whether it's a gate change or a delayed flight, that notification is going to come through the app. So just make sure you've signed up for that so you can get clear communication, and make sure that you just have all of your documents, particularly Real ID. It finally took effect.
Yes.
Right? So here we are. There are some ways around it if you haven't had a chance to get your Real ID yet. But if you have an opportunity to get that before you travel, it's going to make it so much easier to get on that airplane and get to your gate on time.
Yeah. Are there really such things as deals when it comes to airline tickets? I mean, you know, I signed up for Southwest app, and then all of a sudden you're getting this, hey, book now, $50. But then is that one way? Is it both ways? And there's certain booking times. So are those deals something you really have to look through and dig deep?
There are deals to be had if you're flexible.
Okay.
That's the key. They may have just a couple of routes that meet that low price point.
Okay.
And if you can do that, for example, if you're okay to travel on the holiday, sometimes you can get a great deal if you're willing to arrive, say, on Christmas Day, as opposed to a couple of days before.
Okay. A lot of times tickets come to you electronically. What can we do for that to go smoothly? I mean, because I think that's the way of the world now.
It really is. Download that app, right? Make sure you get them. If you can put those passes on a digital wallet, that's a very easy thing to do. However, if you want to print your boarding pass when you get to the airport, feel free, because what happens if for some reason your phone's not working,
right,
you lose power, you can have that as a backup just in case you need it. But yes, having that on your phone, having it ready to go, that is the easiest way to, again, make sure going to the airport, getting on the plane goes smoothly.
What are some do's and don'ts about what to bring on a trip?
Well, first of all, if you're going to check a bag, make sure to weigh it. The airlines are getting very strict about weight, and you don't want those extra fees when you arrive.
I mean, and there used to be a free bag, and that's not happening anymore. So you're gonna have to check, or maybe you can do a carry-on.
Yeah, and that depends. You know, if let's say you have an affinity credit card for your airline, then there's some perks that come with that. So check into that as well, but definitely make sure your luggage is under where it should be. And then think about what you might want to leave at home. You know, if you're worried about any kind of valuables, particularly electronics, don't take anything you don't have to take with you. It's safer, and it's going to prevent you to exposing those devices to, again, maybe a potential virus using a public Wi-Fi network or Wi-Fi at the hotel. Just take with you only what you need.
Okay. Should you ever book a stay at a place that pops up on social media like, well, we have a great deal at this resort?
You know what? You need to be cautious, just like anything else. So for example, if it's a hotel chain or resort chain that you know to be legitimate, just go to their website or go to their app. You know, social media ads often come up with things that we already like and follow. So maybe it's a chain where you're already a member. You should be able to get that deal if you go directly to their site. You really just want to use caution with anything on social media that you click on.
So you've mentioned to us, you know, in some emails, imposter website. What kinds of scams should travelers be aware of besides imposter websites and things like that?
Well, certainly once you get to your destination, you really want to be very careful about things that happen at the hotel. You get to your hotel, you're tired, you're hungry, and great, there's a menu right there that you can order food and get that delivered. But unfortunately, consumers have told BBB about those sometimes being scams. You call, you place your order, they take your credit card, but the restaurant isn't there. There's nothing coming to you. They're just trying to get your credit card information. So just take a moment, look up the restaurant online. Maybe it is legitimate. Maybe it's just around the corner, or go down to the desk and ask for some recommendations. Consumers have also told BBB about front desk calls, saying that there's a problem with their credit card file, when in turn it's just a scammer. So if somebody calls your room and says there's an issue, just go down to the front desk, take a minute, handle whatever it might be in person.
Okay. A lot of people look for deals, and that's great, but if you're looking for a short-term rental for a place to stay, how do you know if they're legit? How can we trust Vrbo and Airbnb? Many operate independently as well.
Absolutely. So there are some trusted platforms, and you certainly want to be safe. Airbnb, VRBO, they do their very best to try to keep unscrupulous actors, scammers off the platform. But it's hard to keep up with. And so occasionally we have had reports at BBB where someone is getting a short-term vacation rental where they're asked to go off the platform. So they find that, but the person who's trying to rent them the property says, oh, I can give you a better deal if you communicate through text message or WhatsApp or some other way. And the problem is once you leave the platform, you're no longer protected. That's one of the benefits of using something like an Airbnb or VRBO platform, is they do have certain protections in place and they're doing some vetting. If anyone takes you off, you lose all of that.
Wow, okay, well, it's great information. So we're going to take another break. It's time, and when we return, you've heard of the 12 days of Christmas? Well, we've got the BBB's 12 scams of the holidays. Don't go away.
The holidays are fast approaching, and so is the season of online shopping. But scammers are eager to cash in on your holiday joy. Using social media platforms and fraudulent websites, they entice shoppers with promises of low prices and hard-to-find items, leaving the buyer with an unexpected product or nothing at all. Don't let scammers spoil your holiday cheer. Visit bbb.org/scam studies for tips on how to avoid online shopping scams.
Welcome back. Scammers love to prey on those looking for deals, and the holiday shopping season, well, we're ripe for them. The 12 days of Christmas are matched by the 12 scams of the holidays, a list created by the BBB. Back with us again is Pamela Hernandez, Regional Director of the BBB in Southwest Missouri. We're so glad you're here.
Oh, thank you. It's always a pleasure for me to be here.
Yeah, great advice. We've already gotten great advice on shopping, travel, and some scam warnings, but you have even more to share. And one I want to start with is fake shipping notifications, because I've gotten them every year like, hey, FedEx has your package. How does this work to get as a scam against people?
Well, that's why it's so important.
Besides being confusing.
Yes, you've got to keep track of your package. It is very confusing. You know, if we're doing more shopping during the holidays, which a lot of us are, and a lot of us are going to be doing it online, we can perhaps lose track of what it is we've ordered, along with just our day-to-day things that we order. You know, if you get, say, a automatic shipment of something like pet food, for example, it's something that happens at our house. And scammers count on this. They count on that confusion. So you'll get these text messages that say, there's a problem with your delivery. Click here to verify an address or to update information. And that's exactly what they're after. Information that you can use for other scams or to steal your identity, or in some cases, credit card information. They'll charge a fee in order to reschedule the delivery, which of course your delivery folks, whether that's USPS, FedEx, they don't charge a fee to do that. Okay.
You warn about buying advent calendars online. I thought this was a different warning. How is this a scam?
Well, anything that is particular to the holidays and that is very fun and unique, scammers are going to try to get in there with putting up a product that looks like it's super fun, candles, whiskey, candy, and then the product that they send, if they send one at all, is not at all what was represented online. And advent calendars are very popular, and there's so many different kinds than what they're traditionally used to be with your little piece of chocolate. There's something for everyone. Cats, dogs, tea, coffee. So scammers just want to get into that. And so when it comes to holiday online shopping, that's one of those products that consumers year after year report to BBB.
Wow, I didn't know that. Okay, so this one has me perplexed. It's a scam dealing with temporary holiday jobs. How do you spot this?
Well, anything that sounds too good to be true, it probably is. And so folks, particularly with some uncertainty in the economy, they may be looking for that extra holiday work. And if something comes up that sounds, again, too good to be true, really high pay for very few hours.
At home.
These tend to be, particularly this time of the year, reshipping scams. So for holiday packaging, we're gonna send you this. All you have to do is reprint this label, take a picture, and send it on. So couple of things. One, people don't get paid for these. When we get those reports, they're not getting paid. And what those items are can typically be stolen items or items purchased with stolen credit cards. So now not only are you, out hours worked and personal information that you may have given as part of being hired for a job, but you're also in the middle of a criminal enterprise, and that can be very serious for folks.
Wow. Well, we talked about traveling, and the BBB warns about fake toll collection messages. It's hard to know if you have passed a toll in some states. I mean, because sometimes now they just take a picture of your license driving down the interstate. You don't even know exactly when they took it, if they took it. So how is that a scam?
Well, again, they're counting on you not knowing, particularly if you're traveling for the holidays. If you're in a state you're not familiar with, the thing to keep in mind is you're not going to get a fine via text message. Your phone number is not attached to your registration. If you do pass through a toll, they take a picture of your license plate, they're gonna find the address associated with that plate, and they're gonna send you something in the mail. And if you're familiar with tolls, you live, let's say in Oklahoma, and that's normal, you know that process. So just go directly to the website if that's something familiar to you.
Well, it is funny because this happened to us in Dallas. We have relatives there, and when you do drive through there, it takes months to get that notification. So then it comes out of the blue, and you're like, did I do that? When was that? It was months ago. So it doesn't really happen via a phone message that happens right away. So, all right, so online seems to hold so many scams. Some people do gift exchanges this way. How does that become a scam?
So what BBB saw over the last few years is a rise in sort of these social media gift exchanges. And think of them like old-fashioned chain letters. Right? You put your friends on there, and then as you come up the list, you're going to get a gift. Well, the problem is, if you've ever experienced that old-fashioned chain letter, the further it goes, the less likely you are to get a gift. So you may start sending things out and get nothing in return. But something people also don't realize, kind of like those old-fashioned chain letters, it's actually illegal to run a scam, for lack of a better word, like that, sort of a pyramid type of scheme. So it's also an illegal enterprise to do that. So, if you want to do a social media or a gift exchange, do it with people that you know.
And meet them in person.
Meet them in person. Everybody get together, have fun, swap some cookies and ornaments, and don't bother with any kind of social media gift exchange.
All right. So there's a lot of apps. Everything has an app these days. How do you know if an app that's holiday related is real?
You have to be so careful, particularly with apps that are directed at kids. And so you want to look at reviews, you want to look at the information on the app in the App Store, and really check any sort of data sharing. What kind of information is it collecting from you, and what are your privacy protections? And then what kinds of things, again, particularly for kids, might be marketed. So if it's something that has ads, you want to really be careful if you're downloading, let's say, a Santa tracking app for your children, because you don't know what kind of ads might come through there. So just be really careful and look at, again, reviews and data privacy and sharing to see what the history is behind that app.
What's the danger of if you download this app and it is a scammer's app, what kind of information can they get by you downloading it?
Well, again, they could just, because you've agreed, that's what happens when a lot of us download things, we're not always reading those terms and conditions. So they can access certain data, for example, location. We wonder why certain ads are delivered to us when we've been searching for something or talking about something.
Yeah.
There's data based on your location that can be picked up. So you really want to pay attention to what those terms and conditions look like, and then whose information or who are they going to sell your information to.
Okay.
So that's another potential danger. And if it's an app that really hasn't been vetted, you do run the potential of some sort of malware in that app.
Okay, best be careful.
Yes,
All right.
very careful.
So one final scam to talk about, puppy scams. How can cute puppies be a scam?
Well, that's the problem, is the puppies aren't real.
They're just pictures.
They're pictures, and it's something that, you know, parents may want to do for their child, or someone may want to do for a spouse as a very special present. And scammers online, these are online ads or online, these are websites for puppies that, again, sounds too good to be true. They're a certain breed, they're low in price, and they are there wanting to make that moment special, kind of pulling on your heartstrings to get you to buy this puppy sight unseen. And then the problems start coming. Oh, there's a problem with delivery. We need more money for the transport. Oh, there's a problem with the animal. We need money for vet bills. We had one report earlier this year. The scammer went so far as to say, if you don't pay this money for the vet bills, we're going to report you for animal cruelty. So lots of emotional manipulation involved in this. And so they just keep going and going and going. So, you know, adopt, don't shop during the holidays if you can. That's a great way to add a furry friend to your family.
Or,
and
I
be
mean,
safe.
you wouldn't pay, don't pay up front, and, you know, go have an exchange to get the animal, see the animal, inspect the animal.
Absolutely. If you do want to buy from a reputable breeder, do your research about that breeder, and make sure you either have a chance to physically interact with that dog, or you can even do a FaceTime, just not let them send you a video, but something where you're actually having a live interaction. So sometimes even if you're looking for someone, you can check for reputable breeders online. If you're looking for a certain breed, sometimes local veterinarians will have good recommendations as well.
Yeah. All right, so why is it important to report to the BBB? What should someone do if they fell for a scam? Contact you?
BBB.org is the best place to do it. That's how we know. That's how we know what kind of information to share, what's happening in the community. Going to Scam Tracker, BBB.org/scam tracker, in case you think something is a scam, want to report a scam, or if you just want to check out a company. Maybe it's a new business to you and you want to see what other consumers have to say, you can check their business profile as well.
Perfect. Pamela Hernandez, always great information. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That wraps up this edition of Newsmakers. No matter where or when you shop, be cautious. And if you need a refresher, go to the BBB website. Thanks to our scam expert, Pamela Hernandez, and thank you for watching Newsmakers.